Yo, shalom, shalom. It's Brother Osman Waltz once again with another quick lesson. This is going to be very brief. But first and foremost, we're going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'Hashem, Rakah HaKadosh. So all praise to the Heavenly Father and His Son's name, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Real name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shah. Right, and so today, what I want to touch on is just something brief. I was watching, the new movie Purge that had came out earlier this week. And I went to go watch it last night, and man, there's a lot of subliminals, and also, just a lot of things up right in front of your face to, basically what the elites telling you, what their agenda is. And it had me to thinking, man, our people are not ready. We speak about, the things to come. We speak about the, the famine, the race wars, the massive judgment that the Lord is about to bring out upon the planet Earth. But a lot of our people are just not ready, and that's why the elect are still being sealed, and Yahweh Ba'Shem Shah has not come down full force upon this place with his judgments yet, right? Because his elect were still getting built up, but with that, the Lord is making us hard right now. There's a lot of things, a lot of circumstances that happen in our lives on a daily basis to where the Lord is just basically refining us in that fire. He's making us hard, so when that day does come, when game day does come around, it doesn't catch us off guard as much. But nonetheless, let me get into some scriptures, just like 2 or 3 scriptures, and then we'll end it out. It's the book of Hebrews 10 and verse 25, and it says, not forsaking the assembly of ourselves together. And the assembly, right, because we have this social media assembly right now. There's a lot of brothers and sisters that I know, and a lot of brothers and sisters I don't know who watch my videos, but how do we assemble? We assemble on this channel, man, right? So he says, don't forsake the assembly of yourselves, right? And if you do have that luxury to, meet up with Akim or Akwath, on a weekly basis or whatnot, physically, by all means do that, right? He says, as the manner of some is, right? Because you have some people, they do forsake the assembly, man, right? And what does that basically perpetuate? That perpetuates them not having accountability, because no one is holding them accountable and no one is provoking them. As a matter of fact, we read the prior verse, it says, and let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works, right? If you're not assembled, right, with fellow like-minded believers, nobody's going to be provoking you into good works. And what's this going to do? That's basically going to make you stagnant in this truth, right? You're not going to have a brother or sister to admonish you, to basically tell you, when you're going off for what you can do better in, basically out of good love and out of, to basically cause you to be more fruitful, right? Because Yahweh Ba'Shem Shah, he's not going to be, taking up a bunch of degenerates and a bunch of crops that's not producing any fruit. But nonetheless, let's go back to 25. He says, but exhorting one another, and so the much more as you see the day approaching. What day is that talking about? It's the day that we read about all the time in scriptures. This is Jeremiah 30 and 7. And it says, alas, for that day, see that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Yaakov's or Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. And that's speaking about the 1/3, the elect of Jacob, right? Because we already know, according to scriptures, according to biblical prophecy, that 2/3 of Jacob will be slaughtered, man, right? But as we see that day approaching, Jacob's trouble approaching, so much should we be admonishing one another and assembling, right? And like I said, this video was inspired from after me watching The Purge. Lord willing, I'll come up with a couple of lessons off of that. Man, there was a lot of meat in there. I'm gonna need to watch it a second time, but as I watched it last night, it just really got me to thinking. Like I said, a lot of us just not ready, man. Because that movie, although it was, horrific, you had a lot of gruesome things in it. Well, guess what? That movie is shortly about to become a reality, and that reality is going to be 10 times more, 100 times more worse than what that movie was, man, because there's going to be a lot of extra strange calamities and a lot of strange acts that the Lord is going to really start making manifest in planet Earth, right? That the movie directors just cannot express, right? So with that, the Lord is basically making us hard, man. All right, let's go over here to the book of Matthew 24. And let's see. Because everything that we're going through on a day-to-day frame, right, these afflictions, the Lord is putting it upon his chosen men and women, to prepare us for game day, to prepare us for that day. Matthew 24:13, he says, but he that shall endure unto the end, right, the same shall be saved. Yeah, so you who's going to endure unto the end, those are the ones, that's the Jacob that's going to be saved out of his trouble. Now, if you will, let's go into that definition, endure. Endure, it says to undergo or suffer, right? And we're doing that right now on a minute scale. We're suffering on a minute scale where it may be you going to a job every day that you hate, right? You're dealing with coworkers that, right, that they just vex the hell out of you, right? Or even if you work for yourself, well, guess what? You're still in Babylon the Great. You have to suffer these damn Babylonians every day, right? Looking upon them, seeing them basically partake into the the goodness of this land, where it seems like no consequences are put upon them, right? But all the while you're catching hell, right? You're laboring and toiling in the scriptures, but yet, you know, that ultimate fruit has not come into fruition yet, right? So you're suffering patiently, right? Like was that I want to say I know it's Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and also 1 Peter, right? And it also says, let me get the main point. It says to make hard. See that? To make hard, to harden, right? And that's what endurance does, right? I was listening to an elder this morning, and then and it kind of, you know, helped you know, me formulate this thought. You know, he was speaking about how gold is refined in the fire. You know, particularly the items of jewelry that you see, you know, displayed in the shelf, right? Well, guess what? Those items had to endure a particular thing, right? And we're known as the Lord's jewel, so we're going to have to endure that time of Jacob's trouble. But right now, the Lord is causing us to endure this hell that he's put us in, this captivity that he's put us in, to prepare us for game day. Because once again, like we state all the time, right, we're not in game day yet. You know, like we still over here. You know, you still have the luxury to eat whenever you want to, right? You can talk to whoever you want to, right? If you want to go on a vacation, you can do that right now, right? We're not in that day yet, right? The Lord is basically prepping us, though, right? This is why the hopeful elect, right, we're catching hell mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, right? Because he's making us hard through these particular circumstances, and this is what we have to cling on to, right? You know, before and during that day. All right, let me get two more scriptures. All right, because once again, that word endure means to make hard. All right, the Lord put spiritual calluses upon an individual, if you will. All right, this is 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 3. It says, thou therefore endure hardness. See that? Endure hardness as a good soldier of Hamashiach Yahweh Shah. All right, and that's how you basically will be on that side of that Jacob that will be saved out of Jacob's trouble if you endure that hardness, because the Lord is going to put that fire. Let me get that in Sirach 2. The Lord tries his men in the furnace of affliction. All right, this is Sirach chapter 2 and verse 4. He says, whatsoever is brought upon you, take cheerfully, and be patient when you are changed into a low estate. For gold is tried in the fire. See that? Gold is tried in the fire. And when gold is in the fire, the smith that puts that gold in the fire doesn't just dip it in there and just take it instantly out. No, he puts that gold in there and leaves it in there for a while. All right? Consider Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in Daniel chapter 3. All right? They were left in that fiery furnace, but guess what? Yahweh Shah was right there in the midst with them. Right, so that's the luxury that the hopeful elect is going to have. Yes, we speak about us catching hell, but we can't forget, right, this supernatural component, right, that's going to be happening for us. Yahweh B'Shem Shah is going to be with us, man. He says, I would never leave thee nor forsake thee. Even when it feels like he does, or even if it feels like he will, he's still never going to leave you. And we got to bank on this. It's scriptures like this that's so fundamental that we should continually meditate upon. Yesterday, did a lesson upon, you know, watch how you think, or prepare how you think, you know, basically get your mind right. Well, it's scriptures like this, man, that's going to basically, even if you just remember 2 or 3 scriptures when all hell breaks loose, these should be some of the key scriptures that you keep in your mind and cling on to until the very end, man. All right, because this was for the hopefully elect, man. All right, this is Sirach 2 and 5. Let's finish it out. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. In the furnace of adversity. And the Lord puts us in that furnace of adversity to make us hard, man, to get us ready for Jacob's trouble, right? But yeah, that's all I want to go into. Lord willing, you was edified. You know, Mawafla Babal, Kwame Sharala, and Shalom.